What we're focusing on, of course, is this area of rotation still over portions of Jasper County, and we are monitoring that moving to Costville at about 2:05 p.m. So you've got about another 10 minutes there. Costville, you need to be in your safe spot. If you're not in your safe spot, you need to get there immediately, of course, and you need to take cover and basically turn up your TV all the way. We'll keep the coverage on. We're not going anywhere, and we'll tell you when it's all clear. Basically, if you're off to the south and east, or south and west of this, like around the Carl Junction, this rotation continues to move away from you. Same thing with Webb City. It is moving off to your north and also your north and east. Now, Alba, you need to be in your safe spot as well. Preston, in your safe spot. Jasper, I'd even say you need to be in your safe spot. You're still contained within that warning area as well. And we are, Jeremiah, why don't you go ahead and show them what they're looking at on the monitor?
Yeah, so here's what we're seeing right now. This broad area of rotation, again, looking to be right around, to give you kind of an indication, I would say kind of to the north and west of where Christchurch, Oronogo would be, maybe just a little bit more north than that. It is moving towards the northeast. So again, Alba, Neck City, Purcell, right in the line of this particular storm. So if you're in Alba, Neck City, or Purcell, go ahead and start taking shelter now. If you're in the city of Jasper, you're not too far downstream from this storm. So again, go ahead, start making your way to your safe spot. For some of these locations that are in Barton County, Boston, Milford, Lamar Heights, not a bad idea to keep your eyes on this. Even though you're outside of the warned area at the moment, that doesn't mean that another warning won't be issued on the back side of this as this storm continues to move northeast, and still maintaining that rotation. And again, if you're just now joining us, this particular area of rotation did have a touchdown just to the north of Joplin, a brief one on the ground for a couple minutes. Yeah, guys, let's go ahead and roll that video one more time. This just kind of underscores the importance of taking shelter immediately. There's the video. This was taken from our tower camera just a little bit ago, within the last half hour or so, and there's the funnel on the ground right there. This warning is in place until 2:15, so about another 19 minutes with this particular warning. I have the feeling that if this area of rotation maintains itself the way that it has, we're likely looking at a potential extension of this warning off to the north and east over the next couple of, over the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. Meteorologist Ray Foreman is here with us now, right?
Yeah, that's right. We've actually had Brett Scott watching this for much of the morning, and sure enough, this spun up pretty quickly right over the central parts of Joplin, and we have had reports of it actually touching down. So if you happen to be north of this area here, we've got what shows you the wind direction is up on the screen right now. And Brett, if you can track out where that's going again.
Sure. We'll zoom out a bit. It's moving to the north and east at about 25 miles an hour. Now, something else I'd like to point out, you see around Costville as well, starting to indicate maybe a little bit of rotation up there, but that is not the location we are focusing on. The warned area of rotation is currently basically just to the south and east of Galesburg, over County Road 240 and State Highway 43, Maverick Road. Now, locations downstream of this area of rotation, once again, area of rotation that does have a confirmed tornado associated with it. We do have video of that. We just showed it to you. Moving off to the north and east, Tucker's Corner, Costville, basically in the next 10 minutes or less, or we're going to see the probability of that moving into those locations. Now, farther downstream, like Lamar and Lamar Heights, you've got closer to essentially around 245, but there still is the potential, because the rotation is still rather significant with this, that we could see downstream continuance and reissuance of this tornado warning. So you definitely need to be aware if you are in portions of Barton County as well.
Could you zoom in on that a little bit closer?
Yes, of course.
I want to see the highways here that were, people might need some landmarks here. So Galesburg, this appears to be right along Highway 43, just south of Baseline Boulevard. So State Highway M, that area is going to be impacted by it. It's north of Maverick Road already, just barely. But if you happen to be anywhere around State Highway 43, this is where the highway crosses the river right there. you need to seek shelter immediately in a basement, an interior room, a hallway. Get to the lowest level of your home if you don't have a basement, and try to put as many walls between you and the outside elements. As he mentioned there, the timing on this takes it near Irwin by 256, 242 for Lamar. Now, Lamar is outside the warning, I think, at this point.
Yes, Ray. The warning actually stops kind of just to the north of Nashville, north of 43 and 126 in Barton County. But again, as Ray was mentioning, this particular area of rotation starting to the tornado warning goes for about another 15 minutes. Wouldn't be surprising, Ray, to maybe see this extended a little bit into Barton County. That's why we're mentioning these Barton County locations. Not a bad idea at all. If you're in Barton County, if you're in Boston, if you're in Kenoma, to go ahead and start getting a plan in place to either get to shelter or, if you can, get out of the way of the storm.
Yeah, and this is actually coming right up against Highway 49 at the town of Jasper. So that area right there, you need to be in shelter already. All the way back towards Nashville, we've kind of put out a fan here to show the direction of where this is going. So it does include the very southern part of Barton County, and again, that goes until 215. We've got Costville, we've got Preston in the path of this storm, Next City, and Galesburg as well. In fact, it's very near Next City right now. Right over Highway 43. We've had several reports of funnel clouds with this as well. So not just the one warning, we've actually had reports of possibly a few other funnel clouds associated with this. A lot of low-level rotation here. You're probably going to see some hail as well as some heavy wind on the north side of that. So
Ray, would you like me to take a look and see if we can see any hail on the radar?
Sure, yes, we can do that. And also keep in mind...
It doesn't look like, at least the radar isn't indicating any hail at just the moment.
The air might be just a little too warm for that right now. So again, the rotation, the heavy rain, and it's probably going to be hard to see in some spots because, so I've noticed a lot of people outside trying to see it, look for it. Don't do that because this one might be hard to see. At this point, it might be getting a little bit wrapped in some rain out there.
Ray, you mentioned the rain. I'm going to switch this back over to reflectivity. This is putting out a lot of rain, kind of stretching from about Galesburg up towards Nashville. So a tremendous amount of rain with this, probably a lot of wind along with it. We'll switch it back over to base velocity. And again, if you're just tuning in, this particular view, what this is showing us is it's showing us winds headed towards the radar site and away from the radar site. That's where we get the indication of the rotation. So the area kind of just to the northeast of Galesburg, that's what we're watching, where those reds and greens kind of come together. And again, this storm has had a history of producing a touchdown just to the north of Joplin, north of the Joplin Airport. We haven't heard anything about damage just yet, but again, still fairly early on in the process. As Ray mentioned, one of the big items with this, please do not go outside and try to take a look at this storm at this time. It is simply not worth the risk that entails.
Well, the most dangerous part of this storm is north of Oronogo. Some of you have probably heard the sirens going off for this warning, but it's actually to the dangerous part of this is actually to the north, closer to Next City. So it's going to be north of Highway 96, but the warning extends all the way to I-49, including the Cassville area. The towns again, Lamar Heights, Lamar. Those are outside the warning. I do need to be specific about that because this warning just goes until 2:15.
Right, and what we're also, of course, paying attention to is locations downstream of this warning outside of the warned area as it moves further off to the north and east at about 25 miles an hour. So you need to be paying attention to this in Boston and in Oakton as well. Lamar, you definitely need to be paying attention to this as well. Now, the rotation continues to persist, and we are watching this another area around the Nashville area as well. Now, that isn't warned. Our primary area of rotation, of course, is farther down here, closer to the Cosville area, over basically State Highway 43, Colorado Road 235, and we are continuing to monitor this basically around the next city, Galesburg. You need to be in your safe spot. We could go ahead, we'll take a look at this on the monitor right quick. Ray, if you could zoom me out and we could take a better look at this.
Sure.
Essentially, we are watching this area of rotation, essentially right to the south of Costville, moving off to the north and east at 25 miles per hour. If we get a broad storm track on that, basically encompassing the whole width of the polygon,
Yes.
so that we could take a better look at locations downstream of this outside of the warned area, basically off to the north and east at about 25 miles per hour. So, Lamar, you need to be paying attention to this. This is not in your area just quite yet, but it is going to be moving in your direction. We are still indicating the possibility of it producing a further tornado because we've already got video, we've already got picture confirmation of it producing an actual tornado. Now, it was brief. It did produce one, and then it went back up into the mesocyclone, but that isn't to say that it couldn't continue to possibly produce this because the rotation does indicate that further potential as it moves off to the north and east. It seems to be in a rather favorable environment to sustain its rotation, as we've seen over the past several radar scans with this. So if you're in Oakton, Esrom, Lamar,
Lamar Heights.
Yeah, Lamar Heights, sorry about that. We're going to continue to see the probability of this moving further into your region in the next little while. About the next essentially half hour to 40 minutes, we're going to see if they reissue this warning, which is definitely a probability because that rotation continues to be sustained, but it is still within the warned area. Like I said, like we've been saying, it's not moving very fast, only at about 25 miles per hour, but it does have a funnel cloud and it has been producing a tornado over portions of Jasper County, basically just to the north of Joplin. We did report that funnel cloud. We are monitoring for more reports coming in. Go ahead, Jeremiah, if you have something.
Yeah, so we mentioned that it did briefly touch down to the north of Joplin, kind of between Joplin and Carl Junction. There are reports of downed trees and minor structural damage just to the northwest of the Joplin Airport. That is in the area, kind of around the Joplin Airport. Some incredible photographs that have been shared with us, guys. Let's take a look at one more, and then we'll go back to the radar real quick. That would be the portion of the storm, I believe, that we have been monitoring. Let's go ahead and go back to the radar and see where that's at now. Ray, I see you've highlighted another area of the storm. Looks like they've actually shortened the warning box a little bit.
Right. They have allowed it to continue, though, so it is still in effect until 2:15. But we are seeing that they're consolidating it to around the actual rotation itself as it persists farther off to the north and east part of this storm. Essentially on the southern portion of this one cell that continues to persist. Of course, this does have a history of producing a tornado, so we are continuously monitoring that activity as it continues through portions of Jasper County and possibly into Barton County as it moves farther off to the north and east. Only at about 25 miles per hour. This funnel cloud is actually pretty picturesque. It's on the eastern side of the primary rain band associated with this cell, so that does make it rather viewable. But you do not need to be viewing this. You need to be in your safe spot. If you are in Neck City, Galesburg, Costville, you need to be in your safe spot. Even in Medoc, you're technically outside of that warning since they consolidated it, but you are within that warned area enough or close to it to warrant being in a safe spot. You're well within that area of rotation just to basically the south and east of you. Nashville, need to be in your safe spot. This is currently over State Highway 43, County Road 235. It's been festering a little bit, moving rather slowly. We're continuing to monitor it as it moves farther off to the north and east. You can see it's rather messy, though. We're not seeing a defined hook on reflectivity. Basically, this notch right here, essentially on the border between that higher values of reflectivity. Heavy rain associated with this cell as well, and it seems to be at least in somewhat of a favorable low-level environment to produce enough shear to allow for this tornado to develop. It's rather touch and go. We've seen it produce a tornado. It would lift back up into the mesocyclone, and there still is that potential as it carries off across Jasper County and into Barton County as we go forward in time. So it's a good idea to be in your safe spot. If you are in Costville, Nashville, further off to the north and east, right? If we could zoom out a little bit and see locations downstream of this, like around Oakton, Boston, even Lamar. You need to be paying attention to this storm for the potential of this warning getting reissued farther downstream. We are even looking at places farther across Barton County. You can see where that rotation is farther to the south and west down there if you're in Lamar watching us right now around the Costville area. We can see around US Highway 43 still down there, decently defined rotation. You can see we are continuing to monitor the probability of the storm moving off to the north and east, only at about 25 miles an hour, so its speed is still rather slow, but it's definitely something to pay attention to. And we are, of course, this does have a history of producing an actual tornado. You can see Tucker's Corner, 215. You've got about 6 minutes. Costville, about the same thing. You need to be in your safe spot, folks, right now. Basically, crank your TV volume up. If you got us on right now, go to your safe spot, and we are going to continue to monitor this. Just listen for us to give you the all clear, because we're going to continue to monitor this as it moves farther off to the north and east. Essentially, if you're driving along County Road 230, Southwest 90th Road, even Sumac Road down there in Costville, US State Highway 43, where that rotation is actually centered right now just to the south, that we are continuing to monitor. And it looks like it will have the potential of persisting into Barton County as it continues off to the north and east.
Yeah, no, we've got about 5 more minutes on this warning. We're probably going to get an update here in just a moment about what they're planning to do with it. Yeah, and the rotation isn't quite as clear as it was a while ago, but this is Doppler indicated still.
Still reasonably defined.
And we're talking just east of Highway 43. It's been staying right along 43 for the longest time now. It's north of 96. It doesn't include areas south of that. It's actually north of Galesville now. So as Brett has mentioned, Nashville and Costville, those areas under the gun, and it looks like now it's been refined to where it's not including the town of Jasper.
We're going to go ahead and refine this track here. Jeremiah, do we still have confirmation it's moving off to the north and east at about 25 miles per hour?
Yes, Brett, that is the case. Now, this is 205, so this was a few minutes ago from the National Weather Service. It was located about 12 miles northwest of Carthage, moving northeast at 25 miles per hour.
25 miles per hour. We're going to get basically a broad swath here around the Costville area on the leading edge of that rotation, moving off to the north and east at about 25 miles per hour. So we're going to zoom out a bit so we can get a good swath here to basically be going across Barton County. As you can see, we are monitoring locations like Costville. It is impacting you now. Be in your safe spot. You need to be in your safe spot immediately. Don't leave there until the all clear is given. Lythena, about 2:44 in the next, essentially close to about 20 minutes. Oakton, you're downstream of this. Lamar Heights as well. Boston, you definitely need to be paying attention to this as it moves closer to your area. We're going to take a closer look. You can see Irwin downstream of this. You need to be definitely paying attention to this. I know it's another 49 minutes before it reaches your area, but we are going to see that potential of it still persisting as it moves farther off to the north and east.
Right, and I kind of want to give an all clear to some of the areas because a lot of people, this is getting refined down to a small portion of Jasper County and Barton County, and a lot of people are wondering, areas south of 96, you are clear. Alba is not in this. Orinoco's not in this either. Carl Junction's been cleared out of that. So areas along Highway 43, stretching north and east all the way into the very southern parts of Barton County are under the gun. So Waco, Carl Junction, the Airport Drive area, that's cleared from the possible tornado. And at this point, it is Doppler indicated, but it was on the ground earlier, or at least we had some reports of it on the ground earlier as well. Formed right over the Joplin area and then just took off to the north. So the areas north of Airport Drive, north of Highway 96, that's a good landmark for you to know. 96 is all the way down here by Orinoco. So any of the area south of that is clear. But we still have the warning for a few more minutes. Should be getting an update, right, Jeremiah?
Yeah, we don't have an update on the tornado warning, but one thing in the wake of this storm moving through, the National Weather Service has issued a flash flood warning for southeastern Cherokee, southwestern Barton, and western Jasper County, running until 5:15 this evening. A tremendous amount of rainfall falling out of this. The National Weather Service is saying 2 to 3 inches of rain out of this. Well, so far out of this storm, 2 to 3 inches. So again, it's even once this particular warning is out of the area, make sure you're paying attention to the roadways as you're going back out there,
Of course.
because of that amount of rainfall.
Right, and Jeremiah, if we could shift gears a bit and talk about this tornado warning once again. The NWS is reporting damage. We've got downed trees, caused minor structural damage to homes northwest of Joplin Regional Airport when this actually did touch down around the Carl Junction Gum Road east of Highway 171. We do have minor damage with trees blown down associated with this. This is an ongoing tornado warning. You need to take cover. If you are in the Costville area, if we could get a velocity signature on that so we could paint the actual area of rotation. Right here, essentially it's been riding US Highway 43 over the past while, persisting off to the north and east only at about 25 miles per hour. So it's not moving very fast. And what we're noticing is it's going to persist into Barton County if it can maintain its rotation. Has had a history of producing a tornado. Right now it's just radar indicated, but it's been rather touch and go with its behavior. So we're going to see the potential of it moving and then touching down and then continuing. It sounds like we do have some new information. Ray, what do we got?
Yeah, it has been extended. You'd kind of alluded to that earlier. It's been extended now until 2:45.
Tornado warning 2:45 for portions of Barton County. So definitely you need to pay attention to that. Lamar, you need to be in your safe spot. Oakton, Esram, Lyantha, and Liberal even, you need to be paying attention to this, likely in your safe spot. If you're in Barton County, regardless of where at in Barton County, you need to be paying attention to this, especially in our more northern regions, because this storm continues to show the rotation indication of the possibility of producing a further tornado, of which it has already done, as it has moved through portions of Jasper County, now moving into Barton County. As you can see, if you're in Nashville, be in your safe spot. Costville, safe spot. Esram, safe spot. Turn up your TV volume, go to your safe spot, listen as we continue to follow this storm, and we'll give you the all clear as the storm continues to move very slowly off to the north and east at only about 25 miles per hour.
It's actually slowed down now. It's 20 miles an hour at this point.
Not moving fast at all.
That's another reason it got extended out till 2:45.
And this is producing a lot of heavy rain as well, just as Jeremiah just told us. Cherokee County with storms associated with this one, more storms farther to the south and west, have a history of basically producing a lot of rainfall over a short period of time. So there is the potential of flash flooding with this activity just because it's moving so slowly and it's producing such heavy rainfall in tandem with the ongoing rotation. Now, as you can see, Sheldon, 324. You've got over another hour, essentially. Irwin, about 311, close to an hour. Lyantha, about 252, so another 45 minutes, close to a half hour. So definitely something we are monitoring as we continue forward in time. It's basically consistently going up Highway 43. So if you're anywhere near Highway 43, definitely take shelter right now. I will say this, on this latest radar scan, this rotation seems to have broadened quite a bit. We're not seeing a whole lot of indication with better rotation. We are currently monitoring that. Could we check a different tilt height to see if we have better rotation aloft with this? Yeah, looks like we have better indication of a little bit of rotation aloft. Go ahead and turn off tilt 1, and we'll take a look at tilt 2. Yeah, basically down there, a little bit canted with height. The actual rotation itself that's closer to the ground would probably be a little bit farther to the north and west, probably parallel with the Nashville area or just to the south and east of that. But aloft, we still have indication of better rotation, so there is that continued possibility. Looks to be primarily, this is the lowest tilt around the Costville area, basically just to the south and east of Nashville. So not the best low-level rotation, but there is still decent rotation indication aloft with this storm. So go ahead, Rick.
Yeah, if we could go back to reflectivity as well, stay focused on the same area. Zoom in a little bit more around, it looks like near Purcell. That's one of the towns that hasn't been mentioned much yet, but that's where the tornado was possibly rotating, and it's where they were seeing the rotation anyway by Doppler. Prairie State Park, Lamar is in this one now, Lamar Heights. We've got Iantha as well, and Nashville is right about where it is.
And we also have your emergency alert system on your television is likely going off right now. It's actually going off right now at the station for that tornado warning that continues to push across portions of extreme northern Jasper County and is moving into Barton County. This tornado warning goes until 2:45, so we're continuing to monitor it. as it persists off to the north and east. Now, it's primarily the southern edge of the cell between essentially Nashville and Costville, where we've indicated this low-level rotation, and the National Weather Service has also picked up on this. And this has had a history of producing a tornado, only moving off to the north and east at about 20 miles per hour. So we're continuing to monitor this forward in time. If you are in this polygon, this flashing polygon, you need to be in your safe spot right now. Oakton, Lamar, you need to be in your safe spot. You may not be directly downstream of this, but you are within this polygon, and you will see the potential of this storm possibly moving one way or the other and moving close to your area. So you definitely need to be in your safe spot. Once again, if we take a look at velocity signature, we're not seeing the most defined area of velocity. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've got some information here. We've actually
Sure.
got a reporter out in the field right now, and he's near Highway 43 and M.
Okay.
And we're starting to see the funnel cloud lowering. He's looking to the
Again?
north.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's starting to lower again, so that would put it near Costville.
Right.
He's looking north along Highway 43.
Sure. So he's on Highway 43 looking north. Is that about where your cursor is right now? If we look at the map here.
Yes.
So
Okay. So if we're looking at this right now, our reporter is essentially, if we get a shot out here with the monitor so I could point this out to everyone at home. Basically what we're looking at is down here on Highway 43, we have a reporter and he is monitoring this circulation of rotation just off to his north between Costville and Nashville, where there is the potential of a funnel cloud lowering. Not essentially a touchdown, but we will have the potential of a lowering with this area of consolidating rotation. This continues to persist off to the north and east rather slowly, only now at about 20 miles per hour. Now, between Nashville and Costville is where we have that rotation. It's going to be moving off to the north and east at 20 miles per hour. Has had a history of producing a tornado. Produced one just to the north of the city of Joplin. We are continuing to monitor this, so if you're downstream of this, you need to be in your safe spot, especially if your TV has had its emergency alert system go off, if your phones have started to go off because of the emergency alert system. Lamar, you need to be in your safe spot right now. Downstream of this Esram, you need to be in your safe spot. Essentially, Nashville as well. You definitely need to be in your safe spot because you're right next to this area of rotation. You're probably getting rained on quite a bit because this area of rotation is on the south and eastern side of this cell. The higher band of precipitation is essentially on the western edge of where this rotation lies, although we are getting indication from one of our spotters out in the field of the possibility of a lowering funnel cloud. As you can see, not a whole lot of indication on reflectivity of this storm, but essentially we're looking at around the Barton County Line Road, just south of that, north of Sumac Road, near County Road 230, CR 190 as well. Basically, if we draw a box with our roads here, Southwest 90th Road, south of that, all the way to Sumac Road is where we are seeing that funnel cloud. Now, this is relative because, of course, radars, scan with certain tilt height, so this is definitely an approximation. So if you're anywhere near Nashville, Costville, even up farther to the north, you need to be in your safe spot right now. If you're in Barton County, you need to be paying attention to this. Even in northern portions of Barton County, need to be paying attention to this right now because we are seeing the possibility of a tornado. It looks like we did get a new velocity scan in, as you can see right here, essentially around Barton County Line Road, around County Road 220, around County Road 210 in portions of, this should be Barton County. Yes, it's moving farther off to the north and east. You got anything on this array right now?
It's getting closer to the Barton County line now.
Yeah.
So we may see Jasper dropped from that shortly
Sure.
because this has been traveling now just to the east
Right.
of Highway 43.
Right.
It's west of Jasper, so it doesn't include Jasper,
Right to the north
town
of
of Jasper.
Costville. Yeah, right
is
to the
not
north of
included.
Costville. Looks like it may have a bit more of a north-northeasterly bearing as it moves farther off to the north and east. Oakton, you definitely need to be in your safe spot with this. Leantha, you need to be in your safe spot. Lamar as well. Boston, safe spot. Nashville as well. Essentially, we're going to draw a storm track of this. It's moving off to the north and east at about 20 miles per hour. So, of course, Nashville, 2 minutes. You need to be in your safe spot right now. If you weren't in your safe spot before, get there, crank up your TV volume, listen for us, and basically wait for us to give you the all clear. We're obviously not going anywhere. We're going to continue to watch this. Oakton, 2:53. You've got about another half hour Basically, Leantha about 258, closer to the 3 o'clock time range for Leantha in both Lamar Heights. Irwin about 3:20 and Sheldon about 3:30. So closer to an hour with Irwin and Sheldon as this continues to persist off to the north and east. Now, I will say this, the area of rotation seems to be just a bit more broad. We've had confirmation of a funnel cloud continuing with this storm, but we haven't had reports of a further touchdown besides what we saw in portions of Jasper County. But that doesn't rule out the possibility that it could produce another tornado. Now, Ray, have we gotten some new information?
Yeah, we're getting reports of some roof damage, like
Okay.
partially removed on Gum Road east of Highway 171.
Okay.
That would be closer to the airport. However,
Right.
that's not in the warned area. I'm just giving you that
Right, right.
information
This is
to
just
show you
a
there's a history
damage report,
of some
of course.
damage with that. And once again, it's a very serious storm. At the moment, it's still radar indicated. However, we have some spotters out in the field, and they've been sending us pictures of a lowering funnel cloud.
Right, of course.
That's where we're staying focused on this area between Nashville and Costville.
And
I'll
of
zoom in
course,
on that
yeah,
a
we
little
have a
bit here.
picture there of the funnel cloud. Looks like, obviously, police are out there monitoring this storm as well, getting some law enforcement reports, of course. Yeah, we have this storm continuing to push into Barton County as we speak.
It looks like the rotation is just now starting to cross the Barton County
Okay.
line.
And that
So-
should be a funnel cloud. We have no confirmation of a tornado touching down as of yet. With the way this rotation is set up, it isn't the strongest rotation, but it could definitely produce a touch and go tornado, kind of like what it did in Jasper County that did result in a little bit of damage. We are going to see this continue off to the north and east rather slowly at about 20 miles an hour. So, Iantha, you need to be in your safe spot. You need to be paying attention to this. Oakton, of course, you need to also be in your safe spot. In the next half hour, it'll be headed to Oakton, off to the basically north-northeast, only at about 20 miles per hour. It's moving rather slowly, and of course, we still have a funnel cloud reported with this, but no tornado as of yet. Essentially, we have this broad area of rotation just to the north and west of County Road 210, between there and Southwest 90th Road, just to the east of Nashville. This broad area right here, where you have these grayish colors meeting these reddish colors, that's where we're seeing that rotation being pointed out on our velocity signature. Rather messy storm with this, not the most indicative of rotation and tornadic activity, but still, we have that continued potential, producing a lot of heavy rain as well. If you're to the western part of this cell, likely seeing a lot of rain. We do have the potential of flash flooding as well as these storms push through. As we take a look, as you can see on radar, essentially Nashville likely seeing a lot of rainfall with this, and then to the north and east of the Nashville area, a lot of rainfall associated with this. It does appear that based on reflectivity and also what we've seen with velocity scans, that the rotation itself is here on the southern edge of this storm, essentially just to the south of Southwest 90th Road, something that we are continuing to follow. Crossing into Barton County as we speak, still moving off to the north and east, only at about 20 miles per hour. And do we have new information, Ray?
Well, it is moving slower, as you mentioned, 20 miles an hour now. I want to give some all clears to a few people
Sure,
here.
sure.
Preston, Next City, Galesburg, Medoc, also Alba, of course, out of that.
Sure.
This was about 20 minutes ago south of Purcell. It's
Right.
now moving.
Jeremiah, could we get a broader view and look to the south, give some folks some all clears here?
Yeah.
Costville, this is moving